This is Bria Hartley right here, grinning from ear to ear with Sophie Cunningham smiling.
Bria Hartley dives for Sophie Cunningham's knees, doesn't even try to avoid the collision, doesn't try to move out the way. Bria Hartley sees Sophie's legs and says, that's the direction I'm going to fall in, even though...
And Sophie's mother, Paula Hartley, is a disgruntled player having trouble everywhere she goes. She's playing mean and plays out of control.
There are moments in sports that transcend the game itself, moments where a single, shocking action on the court exposes a darker undercurrent, leaving fans reeling and demanding answers. This is one of those stories. It involves a rising WNBA star, a brutal collision, and a chilling grin that ignited a firestorm of outrage across the league. This is about Bria Hartley, her alleged brutal assault on Sophie Cunningham, and the terrifying truth that some plays aren't just accidents.
Well, what else can we expect from this league and its officiating?
Sophie Cunningham was flat out targeted by a dirty player. Can continue to survive these things. Here you see Sophie Cunningham laid out on the floor, holding her knee. The lady was in tears, crying as Lexi Hall approached her to help her.
The scene unfolded like a nightmare. Bria Hartley, a player already infamous for her questionable tactics, launched herself across the court, diving straight for Sophie Cunningham's knee. It wasn't a basketball move, it was a direct head-on impact that sent Sophie crashing to the hardwood in a gut-wrenching heap. The sound, the impact, the sheer force of it made everyone watching instinctively clutch their own legs. Sophie writhed in agony, clutching her knee, tears streaming down her face as medical staff rushed to her side. The pain was palpable, a stark, raw display of suffering. But in the midst of this chaos, a shocking sight emerged. Bria Hartley, standing over the injured Sophie, was caught on camera not with concern, but with a wide, unmistakable smile, a triumphant grin that sent shivers down the spine of every fan. It was a smile that seemed to say, "Mission accomplished." This wasn't just a brutal collision, it was a devastating blow to a team already hanging by a thread, and to a player whose light was just beginning to shine brightest.
I think it's one of those things where people are looking too much into things. Smiling or not, nothing intentional happens in basketball. Now on the other hand, Sophie hard fouling a player, like, yeah, she got called for attack. Like, I think we're looking too much into this. I think we are looking too much into this.
That has emerged with Bria Hartley smiling and laughing over this incident of Sophie Cunningham being hurt.
Sophie Cunningham, affectionately known by fans as Sophie the Trophy, is more than just a player, she's a phenomenon. Her fearless, fiery play style and magnetic personality have made her a fan favorite, rapidly catapulting her to become arguably the second most popular player in the WNBA, trailing only the undisputed queen, Caitlin Clark. Sophie brings an energy to the court that is infectious, a raw passion that fans simply can't get enough of. She's fearless, she's vocal, and she embodies the competitive spirit that has helped propel the WNBA into its current surge of popularity. Her presence on the Indiana Fever roster is indispensable, making this alleged assault not just an injury to a player, but a direct hit to the heart of the league's burgeoning appeal. Yet for all her undeniable toughness, Sophie's journey has been a gauntlet of physical punishment, revealing a pattern of being targeted that few could endure.
That chick grinning after Caitlin Clark got slammed to the ground. And then this chick. She's roared to being the second most popular player in the WNBA. Because I believe that's happened. And now, the Indiana Fever has lost both of their top draws.
Sophie's history reads like a highlight reel of sheer, unadulterated abuse on the court. In preseason, she was literally suplexed by Kiki Fanine, a move more suited for WWE Monday Night Raw than a professional basketball game. She's been outright shoved to the ground by Brittany Sykes, thrown around like a rag doll in what looked like a playground brawl. And if you've watched her play, you'll know she's eaten more elbows to the face than anyone can count, seemingly an occupational hazard for a player who refuses to back down. Even in an earlier game against the Sun, she sustained an injury stepping on her own teammate Aaliyah Boston's ankle, proving that even friendly fire can't deter her. But here's the shocking truth. Even after Hartley's reckless dive into her knee, Sophie, with her characteristic defiance, still managed to smile in the locker room. That's who she is. Tough as nails, refusing to be broken. She doesn't just play basketball, she fights through everything the league throws at her. While Sophie consistently defied the odds, a shadow had been growing over Bria Hartley's career, a reputation for something far removed from fair play.
It really is. There's a lot of people celebrating this injury. And guess what? You can imagine who it is.
Grabbing Angel Reese's ponytail. What are we, in preschool? Body checking Skylar Diggins in the open court. What are we doing? Clawing at Rebecca Allen, leaving marks on her shoulder, leaving blood dripping down.
The name Bria Hartley has, for years, been synonymous with controversy, a dirty resume that could earn her a Hall of Fame induction in foul play. Let's pull back the curtain on her dark playbook. Remember the Angel Reese ponytail incident? Mid-game, Hartley decided that defense meant literally grabbing Angel Reese by the ponytail. But she didn't just tug it. She wrapped it around her hand for extra grip, as if she were trying to reel in a prize fish. Who does that in professional basketball? Then there's the Skylar Diggins collision. Any other player would have tried to defend, slide their feet, keep their hands up. Not Hartley. She figured, why bother with defense when you can just body check someone like you're auditioning for the NHL? She straight up ran into Diggins in the open court. No basketball move, just reckless, cheap contact. And don't even get us started on the Rebecca Allen situation. Hartley somehow managed to turn a basketball possession into a WWE audition, scratching and clawing Allen so badly she left visible marks on her shoulder, blood dripping down, and then stood over her, seemingly ready to throw punches. These weren't isolated incidents, they were chapters in a disturbing pattern, leading many to question Hartley's true intentions on the court.
Falling into Sophie Cunningham's knees. Bria Hartley is a dirty player. There's no other way to slice this cake. There's no other way to explain.
This is Hartley right here
like
coming
she
in.
tries to slide over right there, and Hartley just kind of falls
And she
makes collision with that
crushes
lower
in
leg, so you're immediately
on
grab
the
it.
knee of Sophie right here.
She went down.
And it looked like Stephanie White is extremely emotional after this hard-fought game. Sophie Cunningham family is extremely pissed off.
Critics have been saying it for years. Bria Hartley doesn't stay in the WNBA because of elite skill. She stays because she's figured out how to ride on the coattails of real stars. She's become infamous for being a walking foul machine, her name coming up more often in discussions about cheap shots than actual basketball prowess. She's amassed multiple flagrant fouls just in the 2024-25 season alone, solidifying her legacy as one of the most notorious dirty players in the league. The cynical theory suggests her cheap shots are a calculated strategy to maintain relevance, clinging to the fame of actual stars like Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham. Without these brazen antics, many believe no one would even be talking about her. She'd just be another forgettable name on a roster. Instead, she's become a lightning rod for controversy, constantly making headlines not for her game, but for her aggressive, often malicious actions. The question then became, why was the league seemingly turning a blind eye to such blatant behavior, especially when its most marketable stars were on the line?
I think we are looking too much into this, like Bria Hartley smiling after Sophie Cunningham ending up getting injured.
Sophie Cunningham got into it with early in the season. What are the odds? What are the odds this incident takes place with Bria Hartley? A player that's found herself in the center of flagrant fouls, in the center of pulling ponytails many times this season.
The fallout from the Sophie Cunningham incident was immediate and ferocious. Outrage exploded across social media, with fans branding Hartley's play despicable, cheap, and dirty, demanding the WNBA finally do anything for once in their lives. The irony was not lost on anyone. Sophie Cunningham was recently fined for calling out bad officiating. Yet Bria Hartley seemingly gets to run around pulling ponytails, scratching players, and now collapsing knees like it's a hobby. This blatant inconsistency has left fans infuriated, fueling accusations that the WNBA is failing to protect the very stars who bring people to the games. The Fever were already hanging on by a thread after multiple star injuries, and Sophie going down is like the league's worst nightmare. Her absence could flat out derail their season, risking a significant dip in TV ratings and ticket sales. The same fans who just got invested will walk away, and the WNBA could find itself right back where it started, struggling to stay relevant. As public frustration reached a boiling point, a medical expert weighed in, delivering a grim prognosis that shattered any remaining hope for Sophie's immediate future.
It's just emotional, guys. I'm hella mad. Hartley need to be suspended on a major level completely. Probably at this point, she's more dirtier than Dejanay Carrington.
Based on your previous action, your reputation precedes you. Based on your previous actions, I need to assume all of these plays that you take place in are dirty plays, because that's the kind of player you are.
The grim reality of Sophie Cunningham's injury was brought into sharp focus by Dr. Brian Sutter, the renowned go-to guy for sports injury breakdowns on YouTube. On August 17, 2025, his expert analysis suggested that while it wasn't likely an ACL tear, which might have ended everything immediately, it was far more likely an MCL tear, or even more alarmingly, a knee dislocation. An MCL tear could sideline Sophie for the entire rest of the season, a devastating blow. If it's a dislocation, that's brutal pain, weeks of intense recovery, and the constant, nagging risk of re-injury. Either way, Cunningham's future for this year is hanging by a precarious thread, all because Hartley allegedly thought it would be fun to collapse into her leg. If the goal was to damage one of the Fever's brightest stars, then congratulations, Bria, mission accomplished. They wanted to hurt Sophie. They made it their business to hurt Sophie, and that's exactly what they did. With Sophie's season hanging by a thread, the clamor for justice escalated, demanding a punishment that would finally send an unequivocal message.
Can somebody please explain those physics again? Don't want to hear it, because this is a dirty player. All the defending that people might want to do, because there are some defenders out there, believe it or not, all the defending people might want to do for Bria Hartley, she deserves none of it. Bria Hartley doesn't even deserve to be on a roster in this league. Sophie Cunningham's family saying, what's going on here? You guys are calling out Sophie Cunningham, finding Sophie Cunningham for calling out the officiating. Meanwhile, you're letting players just take dives.
The calls for justice have been loud and clear. Analysts have plainly stated that the league needs to drop the hammer, suggesting a severe 20 to 22 game suspension, half the season, coupled with a significant loss of salary. Such a punishment, they argue, would send an undeniable message: cheap shots will not be tolerated, period. But are we going to see that? Of course not. Fans already expect nothing more than radio silence from Commissioner Kathy Engelbert. They anticipate a shrug, while the players most responsible for ratings are left unprotected. Sophie's sister Lindsay and her mother Paula have already vocalized their frustration, directly challenging the WNBA. Maybe you should focus less on fining players for commenting on your poor officiating, and more about hiring officials that are able to call consistent games and protect your athletes. That silence from the league is corrosive, eroding trust, and threatening to undo all the progress the WNBA has made. Regardless of any official action, one truth has been irrevocably etched into the league's history: Bria Hartley's legacy, forever linked to the pain she allegedly inflicted and the smile that followed.
They wanted to hurt Sophie. They made it their business to hurt Sophie, and that's exactly what they did, was hurt Sophie, and I'm hella mad.
Paula, at WNBA, maybe you should focus less on fining players for commenting on your poor officiating and more about hiring officials that are able to call a consistent game, protect your athletes.
Ultimately, Bria Hartley isn't unlucky. She isn't misunderstood. She is a repeat offender with a highlight reel full of nonsense, and the Sophie Cunningham incident just proves it all over again. The footage doesn't lie. The second Sophie Cunningham hit the ground clutching her leg, Bria Hartley was caught on camera grinning, plain as day, like she had just pulled off some grand master plan. Screenshots, slow-motion replays, zoomed-in frames. The internet exploded. To Sophie's supporters, this wasn't just a coincidence. It was the smoking gun, proof that Hartley didn't just fall into Cunningham's knee. She knew exactly what she was doing, and she was allegedly proud of it. You don't get hurt and immediately light up with a smile unless you're enjoying the chaos you caused. That's why fans branded it despicable, a deliberate act, demanding immediate, severe punishment from the league. Bria Hartley, by her own actions, has cemented her legacy as a walking foul machine who lives for cheap shots, while players like Sophie Cunningham actually carry the weight of the league. It leaves a haunting question. As the WNBA continues its ascent, will it finally prioritize the safety of its stars, or will the shadows of reckless play continue to threaten its hard-won future?